What's up, you guys, and welcome to the official podcast of Damian Talks Education. So listen up. I am here to talk about all things education on my podcast. So get prepared for some realness and honesty of education as I walk you down through various of topics that's happening in the education world with some amazing guests, to sharing stories relating to education and so much more, because I got you covered with education. So join me on this journey of education with me. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Damian Talks Education, and happy Friday. Yes, you guys, we have made it through another week. Yes, give yourself a hand clap, you guys. Give yourself a hand clap. TGIF. All right, you guys. Now, as you can see, you guys, I have a new lovely background, you guys. So I just want to, change it up a little bit here and there. Change up here and there, you guys. So let's get right into what I will be talking about with you all on today, which is actually not a topic, you guys, because this is like a feel-good story, because I want to share this with all of you all. And probably some of you all have already heard of this story, but if you have not, well, I'm going to tell you all about this good feeling story, and which is so amazing. To me, it's so amazing. I don't know about to you all once I get into it, but it's so good. It's so good to me. It fills up my spirit. It just wants me to dance all episode long, but I cannot. So let me hop right into this feel-good story, which is a math teacher who brings his students together through yoga. Yeah, you heard me. You heard me, you guys. You heard me. So this teacher says, I openly talk to my students about using breathing and meditations to help with things like anxiety. So Mr. Alonzo Nelson, I probably mispronounced his first name, which is fine, who is a math teacher, a yogaist, a husband, and a father. And at least that's how he defines himself on his Instagram page, you guys. But these highlights barely scratch the surfaces of this St. Louis area educator who first got into teaching while living in LA and training for the Olympics. Wow, incredible so far, right? Now, these days, Nelson spent his days teaching high school math, helping run a yoga studio, which he co-founded himself, hanging out with his 2-year-old daughter, and training his Olympic gold medalist wife for the next Summer Games. Now, we caught up, well, I didn't call up, you guys. Some people caught up with Mr. Nelson after school one day to learn about how he used yoga inside his classroom, as well as his fantastic past, his present, and future. And I have all the dates for you guys, so let's hop right into it. So they first asked him, what landed you in math in the first place? So his short answer is that both of his parents were math teachers, and his dad took his first teaching job when he was born, and his mom finished her degree after he was born and started teaching high school math when he was in the 3rd grade. Now, growing up, he had his mom as a teacher for pre-algebra and his dad for algebra 2 and calculus. So, wow. So he had his parents as his teacher. Wow. I'm so glad that I did it growing up. But I know that well, for some kids, it could be, amazing. But then, to others, it could be my parents or my teacher, which all parents are your teacher. But it's kind of a little strange. It's kind of a little strange, isn't it? All right, so moving on, you guys, to the next that he was asked was, did you know you wanted to go into education? Well, actually, his mom told him not to go into education because it's hard emotionally. Now, he went to school on a track scholarship and majored in chemistry, excuse me. Then he was training for the Olympics in LA and he started substitute teaching out there in his spare time. And when he came back home to the St. Louis area, he kept substituting. And it was incredible for him. He absolutely loved it. He loved the process and the kids and all the people involved with it. So he got his certification to become a teacher, and he is now in his 9th year of teaching, you guys. Wow, wow, incredible. Congrats, Mr. Nelson. Congrats to you, because I know that it can be hard, because especially for us Black male educators, because there's not a lot of us in this profession. Now, continuing on with this, he continued on saying that statistically there's less than 1% of us Black male math teachers, and this motivated him to be in class and with his students every single day, you guys, of that ride. And he wanted to change the experience of math for all students and see them and help them see the positive of it. And he especially want young Black boys to see that teaching is cool, math is cool, and they can replicate it. That's what I'm talking about, Mr. Nelson. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, yes, absolutely. Teaching is cool. That's what I'm going to do once I get into this profession. Teaching in school, I'm gonna make math, because I'm a future math teacher. I'm gonna make math so fun, and I'm gonna change everything about it. And then he continues on saying there's so much value in kids being able to relate, and that's a big motivator for him. So applaud to you, Mr. Nelson. Applaud to you. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So next he was asked, how do you connect with your students? Because I talk about this a lot on here, and also on to my other podcast, Future Educators Talk about that, building relationship with your students, because relationship is key. Relationship is key. Relationship is key with your students. So here's how he answered this question, by saying that first, he's present. He let them into their lives. He let he let them into his own life. That's what I'm talking about right there. And one of the dangers for kids going to education is that teachers often seem miserable. You got that right. Or they hate their jobs. You got that right. Or they are poor. And he presents himself to his students in a positive way. So he liked his job, and they see that through him. He comes to work every day. He loves what he do, and the kids, they see that, because when they see that, they will enjoy being there with you. Because some days I remember, throughout my school years, my elementary, middle, and high school years, I was seeing, some of my teachers. Now I love every teacher that I had, every teacher, and all teachers that I came in contact with. I love all my former teachers. I still call them teachers. I don't call them, my former, because they would be my teachers for life. But some days, especially during high school, I remember like during my high school years, especially during like my junior, senior year, especially my senior year. I just remember, days of where, I am so happy to be here at school, because I'm seeing, my teachers, they enjoy being here too. They have a smile on their face. And it's like, I love that about you. And I enjoy being in your class as well. But then some days you have where, you see teachers like this. They don't care about nothing. They don't have no smile on their face. They're all boring. They talking like this. They're not talking like, all right, you guys, da 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 da, or like, in a positive kind of way, that just be like this. All right, you guys, look at a sheet of paper, number from 1 to, hey, get out a sheet of, they'd be like that, for example. Now, I'm not mocking, some of my teachers. I'm not making fun of my former teachers, the ones who, because I don't know if my former teachers watch my shows, but if they do, I really appreciate you guys and thanks for tuning in. But I'm not mocking you guys. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just, this is how I was experienced. This is what I experienced from some of you all. I'm not all of you, but some of you all. I'm not going to, call out names, but this is what I have seen. Well, some of you all, you come into work, you just having like a gloomy day, and when you're having a gloomy day, your students will see that, and then they will be like, "Oh, well, you don't enjoy being here. So why should I care of doing your work? Why should I care being here too? If you don't care being here as well." You see what I'm talking about there? So the students, we see everything. We see everything, you guys. Trust us. We all see everything, especially the little ones. They see every act that you guys are doing. So elementary teachers out there, please, woo. My advice to all of you guys is just enjoy. Well, I know for a fact that you guys enjoy what you do, but even on your low days, please try to make sure that your kids enjoy being there too inside the classroom with you, because if they see that you're having a bad, rough day, or miserable, awful day, they will see it, you guys, and they're going to act right toward it. Trust me, they will. Okay. Now let me get right back into what he was saying here, because I kind of got a little off track. Well, I wasn't off track. I was just answering to that part there. But he also continues on saying that he also he shows them the human side of himself. For instance, he brings ties for prom and show the guys how to tie them. Oh, that is so nice and cool. And slowly perceptions start to change about what a teacher is, or what a Black teacher in particular is. And he liked that I get to answer, he likes that he gets to answer questions and change stereotypes. Amen, 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 amen to that, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, 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 yes. I'm loving this. I'm loving this math teacher, Mr. Nelson. I'm loving you, man. I'm loving you. All right, you guys. The next that they asked Mr. Nelson was, "Were you always athletic growing up, and does it run in a family?" Well, he said that his dad was an All-American basketball player in college, and when he was younger, he was an assistant basketball coach, and his mom was a cheerleading coach. So that made him like a gym rat, always, tagging along with his parents. And as he got a little older, he played football and basketball and ran track. I ran track as well. Oh, but it was like during my senior year. I'm looking back on it now. It's like, I wish I had done it during my freshman year of high school. I don't know why I waited to my senior year of doing, but I enjoy every minute of it. I enjoy every minute of it. I obviously miss those days. I really do. But those are great memories for me. Those are great memories for me. So yeah, it's just so um and continue on what he finished, continue on what he is saying, you guys. And that's how he met his wife, which was in 8th grade, running track. Um, I think that's sweet. I don't know about you all, but I think that's sweet. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to get comfortable here because yeah, I'm trying to get a lot comfortable here. As you can see, you guys, I'm standing, but I am resting one of my legs because it quite hurts. So I got one leg that's standing and the other that's resting. So I'm trying to get a little comfortable here. And so I love that. I love that. Love that. Now continuing, the next question they asked him was, you have known your wife since 8th grade. So tell us about that story. And I just dropped my shoe. So it was the 8th grade hurdle race, and since there were no other girls that ran hurdles, they just put her in with the boys race, and he's the only one that beat her. Oh, they probably look back on those days. And she didn't like that much. I bet she didn't. And probably still to this day now, you're probably having conversations about that. And from then on out, we were close. Oh, I think that's sweet again. I think that's so sweet and lovely. I'm feeling it, you guys. I'm feeling like I'm yelling at you all, and I'm apologizing if I am because I'm not wearing, I don't have my earbuds in. So I'm sorry if I'm, yelling out to you guys. And then plus, currently I'm in the living room right now. So, and then yeah, so that's probably why I'm, speaking very loudly. But I'm sorry, you guys. I apologize. I'm trying to lower it down here. Next they asked him was, how did you get into yoga then? Well, he said that his mom introduced him to yoga and he just took it from there on there. And around this time, he started taking track more seriously, and he thought that yoga was a lot like stretching, only better. So he started doing it regularly back when he was in high school and in college, and still to this day, he still does it because so yeah. And as an athlete, he never had a serious injury, and he really attribute to that yoga practice. So yeah, lovely. Now the next they asked him was, how did yoga make it into your school? Well, he got his yoga certification in 2017 and ended up opening, his own yoga studio with other educators. That's great, collaborating with other educators, which is fabulous. But even before that, he would do yoga with his students, and he often helped coach the track athletes. And he would do yoga with them, and even the football coach at the high school has brought him into doing yoga before football games. And he has also taught classes at school, which have been open to both teachers and, of course, with students. So, yes. Moving on. So, how do you use yoga with your students? Well, it makes it in my classroom. It makes it in his classroom in many ways. For instance, he openly talks to his students about using breathing. Just breathe in, you guys. Breathe out. Okay. And meditation to help with things like anxiety. And before, they even take a test, he often have his students take a minute so they could, do some breathing together. I love that. And it works really well. Works really well. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Now, the next question that they asked him was, on your social media, you call yourself Mr. Do the Math. What's that about? So Mr. Do the Math came about his second or third year of teaching you guys. And this saying to record himself in class so kids could watch it after, and it will help them later on with their homework. And he don't know how he don't know how he came up with it in the first place, but honestly, Mr. Do the Math lets everyone knows that they can do math. I love that right there. And many people will say they don't like math. And it's not that they're bad at it, it's just that they had a bad experience or did not have a great teacher. Right. I'm looking back on my former classmates, and they will say this, and they will say this here. Then here's why, you guys. Here's why. You may have, like a bad experience, in our previous years, you guys, or there was a bad teacher. Now, I'm saying the best, and probably my former classmates who are watching this right now, you probably agree with me on this here, but the best math teacher that we ever had, well, I'm speaking on me, and I know my former classmates will agree with me on this, was our 8th grade math teacher, Miss Darlene Massey. Miss Massey. Oh gosh, I miss her. I miss her so much. I hope she is doing well out there. And she was a awesome, cool math teacher. Man, I just really love her, and I still do to this day. So, thank you, Miss Massey, for teaching us math, and all the incredible things that you have taught us. Because I really do appreciate it. So, I just want to thank you personally, Miss Massey. So, thank you, Miss Massey. Um, so yeah, so that um is his way of showing all students that it's possible. You can do the math. You could do the math. It just takes, some time. So the next question that I asked him was, can we go back to your famous wife for a second? What's that like of having, an Olympic wife? Well, he says that it's an honor um, to be it's an honor to be her husband. And he says that every time she steps out on the track as um, Don Harper Nelson, he is so proud. I love that name. Gorgeous. And one of the great things about being a teacher is that he's able to be with her in the summer. And usually on the last day of school, he is on a plane flying to where she is in the European circuit. And right now, though, well, this was, when they had asked him that she was actually her coach, that he was her coach for the next Olympic Games. So, wow, love it. That teamwork there. Teamwork makes the dream work. Am I right? I'm right. Moving on, you guys. We got a couple more questions. Actually, 2 more. They ask him this: with all that's going on in the past year with COVID, politics, the Black Lives Matter movement, and everything else, how do you stay positive through all of this, both for yourself and for your students? Well, he says that, again, being present for himself, his family, and for his students has been his biggest form of resistance. I'm loving that. And sometimes when he sees, what's going on around the world, he desperately wants to go and speak out or protest about it. But he has learned that his biggest form of activism is being present inside his classroom. Amen. Preach, Mr. Nelson, preach. Yes. And he has to be very careful not to, overindulge in the media, because it's so traumatic, especially right now, you guys. It is so traumatic. It really is, both consciously and unconsciously. So he makes sure that he is present, and he is allowing his students to talk about it. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for allowing your students to use their voice and speak about current issues or whatever is going on with them. That is what I'm talking about right there, because as you guys remember, back, when I had talked about this, some schools are not allowing their students to use their voice. Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for being the one who is doing it. You are allowing your students to talk about whatever they want to talk about. Thank you, Mr. Nelson. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I just had to say that because some schools just don't allow that. And I'm not going to dwell right into that. I'm going to dwell right back into Mr. Nelson. So he says that he is a soundboard for his kids of allowing them to express their frustrations and what they see. Because what we see in the real world is happening in the classroom as well. Absolutely, absolutely. And he and his students sees it every day. Kids being treated wrongly because of race or social status. Oh my gosh, don't get me started on that, Mr. Nelson. Oh my gosh, yes. And everyone wants to know how to change the achievements gap. But we have to do something to change the environment. I love that right there. I love that right there, Mr. Nelson. I love that. And finally, they ask him, do you have ideas? Well, um, that's just, there wasn't, to me, when they asked this question, they wasn't like very specific with his, they just said, do you have ideas? Well, this is what he has to say. He says that I'm there for my students and other teachers can be there for their students as well. Now here at his school, he has helped start a group for Black Honor Kids. Oh wow. And they meet twice a month and talk about things going on in society and in frustration they have inside the classroom and school. And teachers are there to support them as well. But the kids lead the discussion. All right, now see, allowing your students to use their voice. Yes. And also in his class every week, they do a restorative justice talks. Oh, wow. We don't do math. We just take time to check in, connect, and talk about all sorts of topics. Yes. Yes, Mr. Nelson. Yes. And I will be doing that in my classroom as well. Yes, yes, Mr. Nelson. Go on now with your bad self. Oh, wow. And he also continues on saying that as teachers, we have an opportunity. We can't solve all the problems, but we can let our students know that we are listening and that we care for them. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is so touching and oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm loving this. I love this. Now, you guys, to wrap up this here, you guys, if you want to follow Mr. Nelson, Alonzo Nelson, journey and his famous Olympian wife, check out their Facebook page, you guys, called The Real Nelsons. And they also have a YouTube channel, you guys. And you will get to see their family training videos and amazing snippets, amazing, snippets, you guys, with their entire family doing yoga. So I love that. I love that. And I will give you guys all the information down in the description down below. What a lovely, to end off the week off right, you guys. I'm loving that. Wow. A feel-good story on this lovely old Friday. So thank you guys for listening, you guys, and watching. And as always, you guys, I'll see you guys next time on Damian Talks Education. So until then, you guys, take care of yourself and be blessed and have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy your Friday and have a great weekend, you guys.